Hi guys. So today I thought I would have a little bit of a story time and talk about one of the craziest things that I've ever seen in Jakarta. This is going back probably a year and a half. I had just met Grace actually. Like I had been with Grace probably 3 weeks or 4 weeks at this point. Yeah, it was one of them times where I was a little bit in the huff. I was feeling sorry for myself and all that. And this was back in the days when I used to drink alcohol. I don't really drink alcohol anymore, like hardly ever. I've probably had like 2 bottles of beer in the last year. And at this moment in time, I wasn't thinking very clearly, I wasn't thinking very sensibly. So what I'd done when I was in the huff back in them days was I just went to the bar. So I went to this bar in, it's in Bellagio Mall, it's called Jim's Bar. And yeah, I just started having a few beers, I had some lunch there. And I had nothing really planned for that day, I had nothing to do that day. So I pretty much just stayed there all day long. Like from 11 o'clock in the morning, all the way through until evening. And as you can imagine, I had quite a few beers in that time. I was getting quite drunk. And anyway, it got to about like 12 PM. I can't exactly remember the time, that is not that clear in my memory. But it was about 12, maybe 1 AM, something like that. And I was quite drunk by this point, like, you know, the point of the night where you're just talking nonsense and talking to anybody. And like, I can remember I was talking to this Scottish guy actually. And he's like, oh, you're from Newcastle, you're a Geordie and all. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, and blah blah blah. And we just got talking about different things. I always get interrupted by that train. Let it pass, let it pass. Right, so as I was standing at the bar talking to this Scottish guy, you know, I had like my back facing the rest of the bar. For those of you who've been in there, you probably understand what I mean. So I'm just standing there talking to this guy. And then the next thing you know, I just see like a stool just go flying past my head and crash on the bar, and all the drinks smashed everywhere. I was like, what the hell was that? So in that split second, obviously you go into sort of defensive mode. I turned around and just all hell had broken loose. Like beforehand, everyone was friendly, there was Indonesian people there was like Bules there was like 50-50 mix between Indonesians and Bules. There was a karaoke on, people were getting up and singing and all this type of stuff. It was all fun and light-hearted and no trouble at all. And then before you know it, there was just like all hell broke loose, and it was basically like all the Indonesian people fighting the Bules. So yeah, it was really unusual, and it was like an out-of-body experience. I was just standing at the bar just watching this chaos all over the bar. Like literally people were throwing stools at each other. There was pool cues getting hit over people's heads. This Bule guy got like a smashed bottle stuck in his neck, and there was blood squirting out, blood all over his face, blood all over his clothing. It was just chaos. Like, I'm not one of these people that gets involved in fights. I've never been in many fights. I just don't do that. I think it's idiotic. I didn't get involved in the fight, or want to get involved in the fight. I was just standing there watching it all. And there was actually some like Bule women, I think like the wives and girlfriends of some of the other guys there. And like, I thought, well, I've kind of got to do something, so I'm just gonna get the women to safety. That's my job, that's my duty, right? I know it's totally pathetic, right? But remember, I was very, very drunk at this point, and I didn't want to get involved in the fight. That's not my thing, you know, I'm not interested in all that shit. I don't even know what started it. I don't even know what it was about. I didn't really know any of these guys in the bar, right? They were all strangers to me. Whether it was personal or whatever, I've got no idea. So I just thought, right, I'll get these girls out, I'll get these women out, I'll take them to safety. So I was just like, come on, let's get out of here, you know, I'll take you outside into the like lobby thing. And so I took them out and I came back in, and as I walked back in the door, the guy who got glassed in the neck, the Bule guy, he's quite old, like he must have been at least 45, something like that, maybe he's 50. And he was just looking really bad, like in a bad way. He had blood everywhere. And like there was two other guys helping him. And as I walked in, like I passed him, they were taking him out the bar, obviously he needed medical care. And then as I've walked back into the bar, this Bule guy, I think he was like Dutch or Norwegian or something, like he had blonde hair and he was very, very tall and all that, so I presume he was one of them, maybe German or something. I seen him get this bintang bottle and he just like smashed it over the table, and he had this like, you know, like a chiv in his hand ready to stab some Indonesian with it. And I remember like, just instinctually, I went straight to him and I was like, come on, stop what you're doing, like whatever you're just about to do, stop it. And it was all noisy and chaos going on, so like I had to shout this basically into his ear. I was like, come on man, like whatever you're gonna do, just think about it, because you're gonna spend a lot of years in Indonesian prison if you do this, and it's not worth it. And he like just put the thing down, and that might have prevented someone getting stabbed on. God knows what he was going to do with it, but he actually, even though he was really drunk and he was in a crazed sort of state, he did actually listen. He must have thought in that split second like, oh actually you're right, like I will go to Indonesian prison, definitely. So he kind of just stopped what he was doing and he put the thing down and like he just walked out the bar. And then this all happened like so fast. It was just literally in a few moments it went from total calm and friendliness to absolute chaos and all this stuff happening. It was really difficult to take it all in. It was just so many things going on, fights going on, you know, all sorts. And then it all sort of just totally died off as quick as it had started. I think a few people got seriously injured, and then everyone kind of snapped out of it and thought, hang on a minute, people are really hurt here. And what happened is, like, most of the people that were fighting just started taking care of the injured people. So like you had a couple of Indonesians that were quite badly injured, all the Indonesians started helping them. You had a couple of Bule that were quite badly injured, like blood coming out of them and everything, they'd been stabbed and God knows what. And all the Bules just started helping them. So like, everyone kind of went outside. I just remember walking out the door and like just seeing wounded people all over the floor outside. The Bule guy with blood still coming off him, his friends were like holding t-shirts over his cuts and everything. Like he had a really bad cut on his neck, he must have been glassed right here. And I mean, he could have died, he might have died, I don't even know what happened to him, to be honest. I don't think he did die, because probably we would have heard about it, but I just remember seeing all these people sprayed out all over the floor, like injured, and women screaming and all this chaos. Yeah, so I was basically just standing outside, just looking at all these people on the street being tended to, being cared for and all that. And I know this seems really, really bad and really terrible now, but I remember at the time all I was thinking was, damn, I left me beer inside. So I went back into the bar, right, to get my beer, my bottle of bintang or whatever it was. And the bar was completely empty, and the barmaids had kind of like already took all the bottles away and took all the beers away and cleaned up everything. And I remember I was like, my beer was on the table, like what have you done with it? It was a full bottle. She's like, no, we're closed now, we're closed. And I was like, oh, I paid for that beer, come on, like I was like, come on, I've just paid for that beer and you've took it away. Like, I know it's really, really bad and it was really stupid, and I shouldn't have even been caring about my beer at that point. When you're really drunk, you're not thinking straight, and all I wanted was my beer. And I was like, please, can I just have my beer and all that? And she's like, no, closed. So I was like, oh God. And I kind of just left and went to another bar, right? I just left all this chaos behind. But remember, I didn't really know any of these people. They were already being cared for. There was like an ambulance on the way and everything. There's nothing I could have done there. So I just went to another bar, I think. And I never did find out what had happened or what had caused it or anything like that. It was just one of those crazy moments that I've got like a drunk memory of, and it's probably one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in Indonesia, because like usually Bules and Indonesians get along so well. I've never seen so much as an argument between like a foreigner and an Indonesian person, you know? Especially when you go out drinking, Indonesian people are always so friendly and like inviting you to the table to have a drink and all that stuff. At least in my experience, I've found that. I've never found any sort of hostility, I've never found any sort of negative experience when I've been out in that sort of situation before. So seeing like all these Indonesian people fighting all these Bule people in such a violent way as well, like it was really violent. It was crazy. Yeah, definitely something I won't ever forget. Yeah, it was pretty sad actually that happened. I just have no idea what caused it and why people would be so violent towards each other. It reminded me of being back in Newcastle, because that type of stuff is like happens every single weekend back there. That's normal in the UK. But to see something like that happen in Indonesia was like, yeah, it was pretty unusual. Yeah, so that's my story for today. That's my little story. I've got loads of stories of weird stuff that's happened here in Indonesia, but I don't really know if people want to hear them. I don't know if people enjoy this type of video. So like, if you've enjoyed this video, let me know. Let me know if you want to hear more of my story time videos, or if you think this is boring and you don't want to hear any more. Just tell me, okay? So thank you very much for watching. Terima kasih, and I'll see you in the next video. Please subscribe here, and you can watch my last video here. Bye guys.